like to start off we would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Robinson Superior Treaty Territory, and that the land on which we gather is a traditional territory of the Anishinaabe. We have approval of agenda. There is an addition, and we'll put it under other business as number 4, bylaw enforcement officer report. Anybody else? Anything? Hearing none. Any disclosures of interest? No disclosures of interest. No delegations. Get right into it. Minutes of previous minutes. Meetings. Resolution 29-22. Moved by Councillor Morrow, seconded by Councillor McGrath, that the minutes of the Council and Committee of the Whole meeting held January 25th, 2022 be accepted as circulated. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 30-22, moved by Councillor Morrow, seconded by Councillor Sales. The Council of the Township of Schreiber support Resolution 2022-01 of the Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association with respect to the expansion of the Northern Ontario School of Medicine to address the urgent need for physicians in Northern Ontario. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Counts for payment. Resolution 31-22, moved by Councillor McGrath, seconded by Councillor Stefuric, that checks issued on the general bank account in the month of January 2022 in the amount of $479,915.56 for general accounts payable be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Is this the next one?
That's not.
Resolution 32-22, moved by Councillor McGrath, seconded by Councillor Stefuric. The bank debits issued on the general bank account in the month of January 2022 in the amount of $86,905.10 for payroll be approved and ratified. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Other business? That was 32. Resolution 33-22, moved by Councillor Sales, seconded by Councillor McGrath, that bylaw 7-2022 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of agreement between the Township of Schreiber and the Ministry of Transportation related to funding provided under the dedicated gas tax funds for public transportation program for the period of April 1st, 2021 to March 31st, 2022, be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 34-22, moved by Councillor Stefuric, seconded by Councillor Morrow, that bylaw 8-2022 being a bylaw to authorize the borrowing of funds to finance municipal complex capital borrowing be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 35-22, moved by Councillor McGrath, seconded by Councillor Stefuric, that bylaw 9-2022 being a bylaw to authorize the borrowing of funds to finance public works garage capital borrowing be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 36-22, moved by Councillor Sales, seconded by Councillor Stefuric, that the discount period for the purchase of 2022 dog license be extended to February 28, 2022. Discussion?
This was put forward again because the municipal office was closed in January to give an opportunity for people to come in to take advantage of that discount.
All those in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll move into the committee of the whole portion of the meeting, department reports and committee board minutes. Number one, council expense and remuneration report 2021.
There's a recommendation here from the treasurer that council receive the council expense and remuneration report for the year that ended December 31st, 2021. I'll let Marlene answer any questions if there are any from council.
No, I don't got any. Everybody's good with that?
Yep.
So receive the council will receive it. We're good with it. Okay. Treasurer report, the budget variance for December 31st, 2021. Anybody got any questions with that? Well, hearing none. Director of Operations report. Anybody got any questions, or Tammy, you want to speak to any of that, Tammy, or?
It's all pretty straightforward in the report. We had a little bit of an issue with the grader today. It's leaking some transmission oil, but Strongco was on site today. They responded immediately, and because it's under warranty, they were here to take care of that. The CLI ECA application was submitted today. And we learned a lot when we went to the sewage treatment plant, and we're starting to get our reports again. So they have one more to submit by the end of this week, and we'll be up to date again.
Good. Okay. Community Economic Development Managers Report.
A few updates here for grants. The NORDS program, this was again a provincial program that where we essentially have to identify a project and which funding can be utilized towards. It's $73,370.92. It's an annual allocation for the next few years, up to a total of $366,654,000. The project that we essentially identified was our sidewalks as a project there due to pressures of intensification and development. The Reconnect Ontario program, that grant, essentially the application was put in for Heritage Days. The main thing to keep in mind here is that the purpose of this grant is to cover 50% of eligible expenses. Right now, just the projection again for the total eligible expenses would be $18,750. When it comes to this grant, when it comes to Heritage Days, again, there's a lot of sponsorships that help provide revenue, and also alcohol sales that provide revenue. The main thing to keep in mind, again, with these kinds of grants, alcohol sales, for instance, cannot be an eligible expense. So The main thing to keep in mind here is just, again, it's going to be 50% of whatever is determined as eligible expenses for this grant. It isn't necessarily a commitment for the 9,000, but the 9,000 would be the maximum that we could cover under this grant, should we be successful.
Do we have timelines for when we would know for either of those grants?
Hopefully soon. In a lot of the cases, whenever we put in any provincial or federal grant applications, they never put in a timeline really of when they're going to commit to confirming that funding for us. But I imagine for based on the deadlines, again, especially for this Reconnect Ontario, that that would be soon. As for the NORS program, I imagine they'd let us know whether a project is whether a project falls under a category that makes sense. I imagine they could tell us that anytime soon. And again, we're in no major rush to necessarily spend that money right now. We would likely allocate it and spend it towards the end of the allocation period.
I see on the Reconnect Ontario, down here it's all the ineligible expenses will be covered by the Recreation Department. What's that, their reserve fund?
Potentially their reserve, potentially revenues from alcohol sales, potentially revenues from sponsorships.
Okay, you're not looking at taxation or anything, you're looking at...
No.
You're looking at
no,
reserves or
nothing beyond what we typically kind of forecast for Heritage Days. There's also plans to, again, book a special council meeting for the investment attraction report. It's completed at this point. I have emailed it to all of you to review. The presentation, again, would be taking place during a special council meeting. I imagine it should be just about an hour long. We'll try to keep it nice and concise. I'll let you know which dates would be good for that. In terms of the last point there, it's a Great Lakes Waterfront Trail Expansion Feasibility Study. That's been completed, and it looks like they've captured some of our local attractions in that document, so that's good to see. And I'm hoping that this project will eventually happen, and if it does happen by 2027, there could be bicycle infrastructure on our highways passing through here, so that would be very exciting.
Yeah, bike traffic seems to be picking up regardless that there is no infrastructure in place other than paved shoulders here and there, not everywhere.
Okay. Number 5, Recreation Programmer Report.
There's a recommendation from the rec programmer that council approved the Rec and Festivals Committee planning to move forward based on event plans provided for Winter Carnival, which will be taking place Feb 21st to 23rd, and Heritage Days that will be taking place July 15th to the 24th.
And just to add to that, we went ahead with our planning. We had a meeting last night. We decided to move ahead with the Winter Carnival plan, which would be really a few events on Family Day. Be hiking and sliding on Family Day. They're all outdoor activities. And then Schreiber Smartest Citizen would be on Sunday. And we're also going to promote the Junior B hockey game on Saturday. It's promoted in our poster and advertising. So, and with the idea that if COVID is a factor, around that time, we can always cancel. It's just a few small events, so. But we will move ahead at this point.
I think the 21st is our next step in the reopening, eh?
Correct.
Yeah, so, and they're outdoor activities, so that was the key to our decision. That it should be safe.
So we all, we good with the recommendation to move forward?
Is the call out for volunteers gonna happen for Heritage Days starting now?
Yeah, we're
It's a lot
We're reaching
happening.
out to organizations and committees. I mean, we have a large senior committee membership.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's going to be the key to the whole thing is volunteers. So, the plan should be coming out here this week or soon, very soon, like the event plan. And yeah, we've discussed that at all our meetings about the volunteer base. It's so huge, but I think it'll all come together.
Sounds good.
Okay. Bylaw report. I got a question with the property standards. The one ongoing.
Yep.
Are we gonna be able to get that cleaned up? That looks like heck.
Yep.
It's not a very good first impression.
I could ask for an update, and if council wanted to discuss it further, right, we could put it on a closed session agenda.
That'd be nice. And I guess an update on the one that says before the courts. Is it still before the courts, or is there an update?
Yes, it's still before
Okay.
the courts. But we could do, again, for anything pertaining to bylaw, right, if there's any particular questions, we could always move that to a closed session discussion, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, the one ongoing property standards move to close next.
I mean, if there's no update, we don't have to talk about the other one. If it's still, there's no court date, then you don't need to.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
court date yet.
so.
Okay.
Okay, number 7, Recreation and Festivals Committee meeting, January 26th.
So as you can see on this report, there's just some of the things that we have going on here. If you look at under Heritage Days on page 2, we tried to contact a Midway, bring Midway in for Heritage Days. We're unsuccessful for that. Seems that the Midways are struggling like everything else down in COVID, so no, I don't think that'll happen. And you can see again, we talked about volunteers. I mean, the committee, we will be posting a notice on social media asking groups or organizations to host specific events, and also reaching out for volunteers at the same time. We've contacted CP. CP look for any events. They do community events in the summertime, but I did reach out to them, and the response was that because of the ongoing pandemic, that they didn't have any plans, but we would be updated in the new year, so. And also, we're gonna be reaching out to the high school to find any youth needing their volunteer hours. So that's another resource that we'll look for, so. So we will continue down that path, and we already spoke about Way of Carnival. So that's about it on that.
Okay. And Public Library Board meeting minutes.
Any questions? No?
I just, I mean, you probably know more about this than I do, Dave, but it seems that the kids are reading books, and that's a successful program,
Yeah,
which is really, I thought that's great.
yeah, the book bag program's been
Yeah,
a huge hit.
that's good.
Okay, hearing no more questions, we'll move right into question period.
No questions.
No questions in question period. Okay, communications.
Number 3?
In terms for number 3, I've given you all an update in terms of the anticipated commitment from the user groups. And essentially, we've tried to put together some math, and we're thinking, you know, in terms of the extension for the 2 weeks, could be approximately $8,000 for heating costs, but with $4,831 in revenue based on the rentals you see in front of you. The net cost would be around $3,168. And again, with all those numbers, these are just estimates. If it happens to be very hot, changes things.
Well, I'm in favor of keeping it open, having the ice show here. That's good for our concession and all that.
Good for the community too.
Yeah, it's good for everyone.
I'm in favor of it too.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm
Doesn't
good.
doesn't it line up with Terrace Bay closing and Simcoe coming through?
We're planning on doing the shutdown ourselves this time.
Okay, never mind then. Well, that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good.
Was
We
there
got
a date set already for closing?
Yeah, the 20th
20th.
was the initial
We're
day.
supposed to close it on the 20th. Then they asked for an extension, so we did all this. I guess Nathan got to reach out to them and get them to sign off on these ice times and that.
We'll do that.
That's a very important part of it, because I mean, even when I was working here, it's like once we put out a date that we say we're closing, and like we're closing, and it just seems that they come back at us year after year, and I mean, it works out this time. We're gonna get a commitment like this, but maybe we're not communicating well enough. I don't know, but I'm good with it though.
Okay.
else in there, guys? Hearing nothing else, and we'll move on to unfinished business. The cemetery preliminary budget. Nothing there. Sanitation and landfill preliminary budget. Pretty straightforward, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, hearing no discussion, then we'll move on to number 2, bench at the dog park.
There was good reason why the bench that's outside the park there is because of the weight is why it's not inside, you know, the concrete. But I talked to the guys up at the shop and Bruce said what they would do then is once the ice and snow is all gone, there's a lighter bench, mostly plastic, up at the outdoor rink. So they simply put that one inside the dog park, you know, which might be better for users being inside. Or if there's an extra picnic table around, that wouldn't be such a bad idea either. But we'll have something inside there, so I think that's a good move.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely get some, definitely get something inside, yeah, you can't,
Right.
it's gotta go in the man gate, and
Yeah.
they're heavy.
So there's one that is available, but the idea of a picnic table isn't so bad either, but.
Yeah, I'd be careful taking that one at the outdoor rink, because it was donated to the outdoor rink.
Oh. Well,
That was the cause, I would ask the person first.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's not a big deal, we'll get a lighter bench or picnic table in there for
Maybe
sure.
just get another bench like that or a picnic table.
Yeah.
You know, and I know a number of dog owners would appreciate that.
No, if I was running or having my dog run around in there, I'd be wanting to sit inside too.
Do you want me to scope out a bench or a picnic table?
It's just a bench, I think.
Okay.
Just a bench. Maybe for that matter, you'd probably pick up a bench at Severia's for $200 or whatever. I know last year you couldn't get them
Yeah.
because of the COVID and everything. It was a hard sell to try and get one of them anywhere.
They're probably worth 400 last year. I think it was double last year.
Wood's expensive.
Better now.
Wood or steel, whatever. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but wood's expensive, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. Okay, you good with that, Doug?
Yeah.
Okay, right on. Well, that's it. That's the last thing on the agenda. I'm not missing anything, eh?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, resolution 37-22. Moved by Councillor Stafuric, seconded by Councillor McGrath, that the meeting now adjourn at 7:36 p.m. All those in favor? Carried.